Hey y'all, Jen Hernandez, Loan with Jen. So why does the seller care, or should they care, about the type of loan that a buyer is going to get? So there's a few things that we're going to cover in this video as to reasons why it might matter for a seller. So number one is the value. So it's important to note that conventional lenders, the appraisal process for conventional is a little bit lighter or a little bit more flexible than the government loans, which is FHA, USDA, and VA. So some sellers prefer a conventional loan if the property might have a little bit of deferred maintenance. It might not be in stellar condition. That's where a conventional loan could be more lenient upon the terms. So if that applies to you and your property and you're a seller, you might want to think about that. Now, FHA, talking about the value, a couple of important things to note about an FHA loan or a VA or a USDA. Those are the three types of government loans. They do focus more on deferred maintenance. The reason is because it's usually someone that's a more marginal buyer, higher debt to income ratio, lower credit score. So the percentage of times that these loans in the future might foreclose is a little bit higher. That's what the stats say. So these loans are more focused on the condition, so that if the loan company has to take the loan back because of foreclosure, they don't want a house that needs a bunch of work on their hands. So they're more concerned with deferred maintenance items, rotted wood, things that are missing, any appliances missing, any exposed sheetrock, things that might be syndication or indication of a house that might not be in great condition. So that's something to know on FHA, to be careful before you accept an FHA offer. Now, the other thing to note on an FHA loan is that if the value comes in for, let's say the price of the house that you're selling is $200,000 and the value comes in at $180,000, and if that buyer doesn't buy that house and the loan falls out, if that goes to another buyer and they have FHA financing, the appraisal sticks to the property for 4 months. So again, an FHA buyer was going to buy your house, now they're not. They had an FHA appraisal done. There's a case number assigned to that property. If that loan doesn't go through and now it's going to another buyer that's an FHA buyer, that loan value will stand. It won't, if there's other types of loans, if it's conventional, that won't happen. It's only FHA to FHA. So that's important to note. Now, if it's a veteran loan, a VA loan, it's 6 months. So again, if you had a VA buyer, that loan did not go through, and there's a new VA buyer, whatever that appraisal was that was done will stick with the property for 6 months. So that's important to note. The other thing that sellers may or may not be curious about is closing costs. So are there more costs associated to you as a seller when you are accepting, let's start with conventional. There's absolutely no extra cost if they have a conventional loan. In fact, there's no other extra cost if there's if there's an FHA loan. So FHA stands for Federal Housing Administration. There's no additional cost to the seller that's required. The only loan where there could potentially be an extra cost is on a VA loan, which stands for Veteran Affairs. When it's a VA buyer, there are potentially a few costs that the buyer cannot pay. So if the buyer can't pay them, the only people left to pay them is the seller or the lender. So many times a lender will just give a lender credit. They'll price the loan in such a way that it'll absorb some of those costs. But you just want to double check with the buyer's lender to make sure before you accept the offer if there's any cost that would be involved in this situation if it's a VA buyer. So these are the reasons that you might want to think about if you're selling a home. Do I accept a conventional offer? Do I accept VA? Do I accept FHA? I hope you found this video helpful. Visit us more at loanwithjen.com. If you're in Texas, call us. We'll talk to you soon. Legacy Mutual Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity lender. The opinions expressed here do not reflect those of Legacy Mutual Mortgage.